Okay, we are live. Just want to come back to you and show you these levels, how well they played. Monthly over here on my left on the QQQ. Calling this resistance this morning 712.17, and you can see why. Theoretically, this is most definitely, this isn't a theory. This is not financial advice for educational purposes only. But if you were trying to seek a trade, you know this is a major line in the sand, because these are our monthly pivots, a huge time frame that once we got there, we failed. Remember, once we break, it's resistance until proven otherwise. And it was proven that it is still resistance. Now we start looking down for this low of yesterday that bounced right off of our other pivot. When I go back, I want to show you, so that was our monthly. Here's our daily. It broke down from the main resistance. And as you can see, it traded out of the daily pivot. Good run up here. But we know when I'm here on my daily pivots that we're right into monthly resistance. That's why I post the monthlies at the beginning of the month and say, draw those on your chart and use them as guardrails basically on the highway to keep you in safe territory. We know that's a very major level. Once the daily pivot breaks down, you can see where we're finding support. You can see where we are finding resistance at the day. So this is the range that we're trading in now, right between the daily pivot and S1 on the daily. Those are things that you definitely want to be aware of when you are trading this market. The weekly in the middle here broke down below S2. We know that it doesn't close down there much, so the probabilities are high that it could have a bounce. Well, where's the bounce? That was yesterday, 685. Today, same story. So you look at price points, 696 is your next level it needs to hold on the QQQ. If it does not hold, you start looking at 688 to 685. This was the best trade of the day right here on the QQQ, the easiest trade. I won't say the best, the easiest. Let's jump over to our flex grid, everything we follow. I have several of these that I watch. I have 8 monitors behind you that you cannot see, but that's so I can call these levels out live and tell you and guide you where the opportunities exist, where the edges might be. Apple, our only outlier today over here in the lower left corner. These are just our daily pivots. And you can see it went up and found resistance at R1 on the daily pivot. Perfect. Held the pivot, went higher. Bullish above until we find resistance. Bearish below until we find support. It's very simple. Do not complicate this. It will eat you alive if you do. So that's Apple. We can just run through all of them. Google broke the daily pivot and has headed south ever since. Where did it find? It's a perfect example. And I wish I had more people on here to see it. Perfect example. And this works on all time frames, whether this would be your monthly pivot that you're looking at, your weekly, your yearly, your quarterly, all these pivots levels that we produce depending on what style of trader you are. Held the pivot this morning at open. Held the pivot. Where did it find resistance? R1. Broke the pivot. Rechecked it. Hit S1, first target. Below, we're bearish here because we are below this pivot. Bounces, breaks the pivot. Remember, once they break, they become resistance until proven otherwise. Resistance, resistance. We go down and find the other target. Now we are trading below that on Google on S2 for the day. Not a great chance that it finishes down there for the day at 356.74. If it does finish down there, you want to refer to our weekly and monthly pivots as a guide for where those next large levels are that you can look to leverage anything that you're trying to accomplish. These are the probabilities of how reactions take place on these levels. We know all the statistics. So that is something you can dig into. I have links that will guide you there in my bio. Here is Amazon, broke the pivot, not near as strong as Google was, or Apple this morning, correct? Just straight up died, flushed, I should say. found support, traded on it, broke. I loved this model. Retest, can't get back on top of it. Where's our next target? 237. So 240 to the top side, 237 to the bottom side, and that will keep you on the right side of Amazon. Meta. Like I said, this is just such an easy way to view all of this. Pivot, gets above resistance. This is support until proven otherwise. As soon as it breaks down, it's no longer support. Now it is resistance. Breaks, and these are just 5-minute candles. So if you're day trading this is what you can look at, and it's very simple. Breaks, retest, now that's resistance, 580.73, acquiring first target now at 573.04, and that is on Meta. And I post these levels at the open every day, so you can put them on your chart and understand where price is going to interact and why. 5 simple lines. I'm not trying to navigate 5 custom indicators and interpret the data that I'm seeing from those. I've got 5 simple lines, and that's made me the most profitable that I can be as a trader and investor. All right, Tesla. Look at this breakdown yesterday. Crushed through the levels, was resistance all the way into the end of the day. Like I said, once they break, they're resistance until proven otherwise. And if I jumped out to a monthly time frame, and we can, that was probably a buy zone on the monthly or the weekly. We just have to look. But that's why I recommend that you have something like this here. So let's just look at Tesla and see if it found anything yesterday that could give you an edge. Because here's the thing, I don't want to guess. I want to have an edge, and I want to understand why I am taking risk at that point in my life. Let's go find that exact breakdown right here. Almost hit the weekly, almost hit the monthly. Missed the monthly by $4. Missed the weekly by more, well, about $4. So I don't have an edge in Tesla. So why would I take a swing? I want it to be closer. This is definitely a zone. But from myself, if I was taking a trade, I'd want it to be closer to my edge. So that way I have an actual right or wrong level. Makes it a lot easier. The Qs. We covered it first, but I'm going to cover it again. Here's the Qs. I need to be cognizant of my picture up there so it doesn't block you when I'm trying to show you this. Broke up, breaks all levels. These are resistance until they become support, just like this. Resistance, never really held for support one time, but that's your right or wrong. Hey, I want to short the Qs today because I can see the market's rolling over. Well, this is my right or wrong. As soon as I break through, I know that the probabilities go up. I only close up here about 10% of the time on 20 years worth of data analyzed based on how we calculate these pivots. So I know I've got a 90% chance that it doesn't close above that line. Does that mean that 10% it doesn't? No, that means that 10% it does. And you got to be aware of that. But if you see it holding this as support, that's when you know that that's a different picture. And I covered all that in my first live this morning. Hey, this is how you view the market and why. Get the breakdown, holds pivot, bounces. If I got long here, risk management, I break it, now I'm on the wrong side. So my risk management, I'm stopped out. Now I'm resistance, resistance, resistance. Here's my buy. Here's my resistance. Here's my resistance. So if I'm shorting it and scalping it, there's a great opportunity at 701.66 to do that. Where has support been all day? 696.09. Holds, holds. That's what you're looking for, and that's what you want to happen. Let me see. The SPY. Remember, these are daily pivots. Where did it find resistance? Right at R2. Where did it break down to? Right to S1. You cannot script it any cleaner. And I posted these at about 6 minutes after the open. So you have them 5 minutes. I'm trying to get that down to a little quicker just so people are very aware. Hey, these are my levels. So that way when we're an hour into the open, we're hitting S2 and these zones are lining up. It's a very simple trade. And you could just use this for the day. and trade it that way. Very, very easy to do. ES futures overnight, the pajama traders, what they done, couldn't hold the pivot. This morning we had that little rally out of the gate. Couldn't hold the pivot. Once it breaks, that's my right or wrong level. If I want to be long, 73.80 for the day, because you don't know what it's going to do. But I know where I'm right or wrong. 73.80, I'm long. Hey, I'm spiking to 74.05. That's a 25-point trade. That's a great trade. As soon as it breaks, now I'm looking bearish down to my other targets. And where are we finding support? All the way down here to S2 for the day. BP. Make it so simple. This is so simple to trade this that I hope that you start drawing these lines on your chart, because it's just that easy to do. SPX, same look as SPY, of course. Didn't quite hit S2 or R2. Broke right down. So here was your right or wrong level. Hey, 73.83 is my support. If I got long right off the pivot retest at 73.50 and wrote it up, great trade. Easy enough. If this breaks and I'm long, then I know I'm wrong. Risk management. I need to know where my stop is and why I have it there. Oh, the NVIDIA, the king that is not being too much of a king right now. Down 3.3%, which is a lot. Here we are on the daily pivot. Can't hold it. Tried to stay above, broke, retest, 204. If you're buying NVIDIA puts, that was your right or wrong. Breaks on down, now you're trading 201. If it holds, comes down here, retests and holds, and you have calls that you want to scalp or whatever, however you want to trade it, so put credit spreads, then you'd look for this target, 207. NQ futures, the pajama traders were moving this a little more overnight. Couldn't hold the pivot. This morning we rallied up above the pivot, right at open. And that's what you look for. Okay, this is my bull bear line. If I'm long here, my first target's 29.3. Can't get there. Start breaking down. I got to flip my switch in my mind and say, I don't care what my feelings say or what my emotions are, that I think the market should go up today or it should go down. This is my level. Pivot, 29.094 and 3/4. Easy enough. Switch, retest, failure. Break, retest, failure. Okay? Let's not make it hard. Let's just make it as simple as we can. Microsoft tried to have a day, went up, found right off the pivot, found R1, our first resistance zone, and traded across it. And you think, well, the market's rolling over. I think I want to buy some Microsoft puts for whatever reason. Well, this is your right or wrong for the day, 403.63. Easy enough to trade that and understand, hey, if I get on top of here, I'm wrong. That's just that easy. Because like I said, once we break, it's support until proven otherwise. And it proved really quick it was not support. And you can see all we've had is 5-minute wicks all day that touched. And like I said, I had these out about 5 minutes after the open this morning. And back to Apple. Found that perfect resistance at S1 or R1, sorry. So that's how we view it. We like to monitor a lot and call these out. I post on my links in my bio that tell you, hey, this is a major level. This is an inflection point. This is your edge for the day, for the week, for the month. That way you can have a great understanding of what the markets could possibly do and the probabilities. That's the biggest part. We post the probabilities that we close above S2 today. We know that we only close below this about 8% of the time on the day. There's 92% chance you stay above that. Does that mean go bet everything you can on this today? No, not at all. What it means is when it gets here, that's a great probability that you can take an educated trade and understand you're right or wrong and what you're looking at moving forward. So I will leave you with that, and we will check back and see later today, maybe this evening, I will post another video that shows this and goes in depth on what we can do with these tickers and these symbols, just to help guide you through the process. Come look at our stuff. It's amazing, or I wouldn't be on here telling you about it. Talk soon.